Welcome back to another Bolt tutorial. Are you looking for a faster way to bring your design ideas to life? Google Stitch is a beginner-friendly, AI-powered design tool that lets you create and iterate high-fidelity mockups, all powered by an underlying design system. When you combine it with Bolt, you unlock a complete design to development workflow that's faster and more efficient than ever before. Stitch makes it incredibly easy to create clean, functional designs and design systems in minutes. But here's where it gets powerful. You can export your Stitch designs with one click and bring them into Bolt, where you can layer on advanced functionality like user authentication, databases, and API integrations. This is the workflow that bridges the gap between design and development seamlessly. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to create designs in Stitch, export them to Bolt, and enhance them with powerful features that take your project from prototype to production. Stitch handles the visual foundation and Bolt handles the sophisticated logic and data layer. Let's get started. So just by Googling Google Stitch, here we can see the first result. So what do we need to know? For a good starting prompt, we want to include our idea, a theme, content, and we can include an image if we'd like to. Choose whether it's an app or web. Make one major change at a time. We can always edit the design and the theme if we want to. And once we're done, we can download it as code or we can export a design Markdown document. Now let's get started. Here's our initial prompt. Create a web app that helps me plan meals for the week. It should have 3 pages, a meals selection page, ingredients that I need to buy, and weekly schedule of meals. The theme should be vibrant, colorful, and playful. Please use existing easy recipes as pre-seeded content. I'm making sure that it's a website. I'm going to change to their most highly performant model, thinking with 3.1 Pro. I could select a design system here, but because I've included the theme, it'll create a custom one for us. Now let's go ahead and build this. We can see the agent is thinking. And just like that, the Gemini agent has finished creating these 3 pages with a design system as well. So here we can see it's chosen a font, it's added primary, secondary, tertiary colors, it's added a degree of roundness to each of the buttons, etc. Also, we've got our meal selection page, our shopping list, and our weekly schedule. I think it's done a great job making it look playful, fun, and engaging. But let's say we don't really like the design system too much. We can come, click on this page itself, and now prompt a change. I don't really like the yellow. Let's change this to another shade of green, different from secondary. We'll send off that prompt. The agent's finished working, and instead of changing the original design system, it's gone ahead and created an entirely new one. So if we zoom in on that, we can see it's now added a different shade of green as the primary. Let's have a look at this new design. Okay, it's kind of fun. I like all this green. Notice that it's moved the weekly schedule and the shopping list around, and it's actually changed the layout of these components a fair bit. Looking a little bit more deeply, let's see if we can adjust the layout of this page specifically. The layout of the different components in this page is inconsistent. This is distracting. Please make the layout of each of these components to follow the same design patterns. I like the look of the protein card layout. And here's the result. We can see it's a little bit better than it was before. Let's prompt it again. Each of these category item cards should have a matching header. The title should be left aligned with the icon in the right. Use the same font size for all 3. There we go. It's starting to look a little bit more consistent. Let's now modify the weekly schedule. We're going to select it and we'll add our prompt. Here we go. We should prioritize the weekly timeline. This should be at the top of the page with the meal wheel and favorite queue underneath it. Also, the weekdays should have space for 3 meals instead of just 2. Here we go. Right next to it, it's created the new design of the adjustments we just asked for. Let's go ahead and we'll delete the old designs. Now, this isn't perfect, but I'm happy with this for the demo. Now let's have a look at the design system. We can select it, click modify, edit, and here we can choose the exact colors that we want for the design system. We can change the fonts. We can change the corner radius of the buttons as well. Notice that it creates a design Markdown document. This is a document that's easy for us and AI agents to comprehend. Let's have a quick look through it. Overview and creative North Star. Unlike traditional food or wellness interfaces that feel static and clinical, this system is an explosion of culinary energy. It captures the moment of a fresh chop, vibrant, pressurized, and full of life. To break the template look, we move away from rigid, boxy grids. We utilize intentional asymmetry and exaggerated typography scales. It goes over the color palette and atmospheric depth, the no line rule. Do not use 1 pixel solid borders to section content. Boundaries must be defined solely through background color shifts. Surface hierarchy and nesting, glass and gradient, typography. You can see that this is quite a comprehensive design Markdown document. Once we're happy with the design system and our pages that we've created, let's bring these over into Bolt. To do this, I'm going to do a few things. First of all, while we're in this design Markdown document, remember we can get to this by selecting the design system and changing to the design tab. I'm going to copy this Markdown document. Let's jump over and we're going to paste this into the Bolt agent. Next, let's come back in and we're going to select one of these other pages. Let's just select one for now and we're going to click Export. Let's select Code to Clipboard and we're going to copy this code. Jump back into the Bolt agent and we'll paste this. Please build out the meal selection page using the code attached. I've also attached a design system. Please save this as a Markdown document in the project root. Let's build this out. And here we go. The Bolt agent has built out this recipes page, very similar to the design because it was using the code. If we jump over into the Bolt code base, we can see it's added a design system Markdown file, and this is the exact same instructions that we had seen before in Google Stitch. Hopping back over to the design, let's now select the second page, the weekly schedule, export, copy to code, and copy, and we'll do the same process bringing this back into Bolt. We'll paste that code and prompt it. Using the code attach, please build out the plan page and connect the page headers appropriately. Let's test it out. Let's click on plan. Here we go. It's even scrolling as well. How great is that? Incredible. So let's go do the last page now. Click on it, export, code to clipboard, copy. Looks great. Let's add the final page, groceries, using the code attached. Here we go, groceries, exactly how the design was created in Stitch. Okay, so what's next to do? At the moment, it's just a front end. Notice that we don't have our database connected and none of these recipes are actually reflected in the database at all. So let's ask Bolt to change this. Using your knowledge of how the recipes are reflected in the UI across all 3 pages with properties such as name, tags, images, ingredients, etc. Please create a database to store the recipe and ingredient information. Let's plan this out and build it. So the Bolt agent's finished its plan and it's asking us if we want to create user login with a sign in page and a create account page, which is great. However, any new page or any new component, we want it to reference the design system that it just created before. So let's make reference to this in the project knowledge. The project knowledge is a place where the agent refers to every single prompt. When you create a project, it creates these project instructions by default. Now we can add on to this. Whenever building out new parts of the app, such as adding new pages or components, make sure to reference the design system Markdown file for design guidelines. Let's save that prompt and we can go back and answer these questions. We've answered the clarifying questions. We'll turn it off plan mode and send. The agent's finished working and have a look at this. It's stuck to the design system that we've given it. That's all because we've written that down in a Markdown file and then we've also referenced that in the project knowledge as well. So let's have a look in the database and here we can see, look at all these tables that it's created. It's seeded the recipes table with 26 different recipes. If we scroll across, it's found prep time, calories, meal type, etc. Let's test it out. We've just created an account and logged in. Let's have a look at user management. Here we go. Our user's been created in the database. And if we look at this recipe, for example, the kinetic karma bowl will come into our recipes again. Let's have a look. We should see it here. Here we go. Number 1, meaning that the recipes we now see on the front end are referenced from a database instead of hard coded. Obviously, there are a few more steps that we need to do to make this fully functional. Like we could be connecting each of these tabs. We could make these recipes drag and drop into the correct days. And this is all the fine tuning that you'll be doing. We won't do a deep dive into the user experience of improving this site here, but you get the point. In this video, what we've been able to do is use Google Stitch to create your design system. We've used that to create a variety of different pages, and then we've brought that code and the design Markdown document here inside Bolt so you could use that as a starting point for your project. By referencing the design system in the project knowledge, you're able to build out new pages and components referencing this same design system that you've already created. So there we go. We've possibly created one of the fastest design workflows going directly from Google Stitch here into Bolt, building out your fully functional website. As always, if there's any content you'd like to learn more about, please feel free to drop it in the comments below and we'll do our best to get to it. And good luck with all of your implementation with Google Stitch.